Her phone trembled in her hand. The message on the screen from her father-in-law glowed in the dark. This time, it was a photo of her, but the angle. Getting out of the shower, in her own home, in her own bathroom. How did he take this photo, Sarah thought. Then a worse question came to mind. What else does he have? Sarah Miller was 27 years old. She thought she had a happy 2-year marriage. She loved her husband Brandon deeply. She thought she'd married into a good family, but the truth was much darker, and no one was going to believe her. Sarah and Brandon had met 3 years ago. Sarah was an elementary school teacher at a school in Santa Monica. Brandon worked as a finance manager at a tech company in Culver City. They met through mutual friends at a rooftop party in West Hollywood, dated for 6 months, and got engaged. Brandon's family had been very warm towards Sarah at first. His father-in-law, Robert Miller, was a 52-year-old retired aerospace engineer. His mother-in-law, Linda, was a 48-year-old homemaker. They seemed like a good family on the surface. At their first meeting, when Robert hugged her, he held on a bit too tightly and too long. Sarah felt uncomfortable, but thought, maybe he's just an affectionate person. That's how some men are. Cultural differences, generation gap, different era. She convinced herself. Throughout the wedding preparations, Robert was constantly around. He came to dress fittings. "I want to see what my son's bride will look like," he'd say with a laugh. But the look in his eyes, that look always made Sarah uncomfortable. On the wedding day, when they danced, Robert didn't hold her waist. His hands went lower. Sarah immediately pulled back. Robert laughed it off. "Sorry, lost my balance in the crowd." That night, Sarah wanted to tell Brandon, but how? Would she say, "Your dad said I smell good"? It sounded ridiculous. She felt like she was overreacting. She stayed silent that night. She wished she had spoken up. After returning from their honeymoon in Hawaii, Sarah and Brandon started living in their rented 2-bedroom apartment in Palms, a neighborhood near Culver City. It was small but cozy, perfect for the two of them. The first few months were normal. Brandon went to work, Sarah went to school. They cooked dinner together in the evenings, watched Netflix, and built their life. Robert visited frequently, very frequently. 3 to 4 times a week. "I miss my son, just stopped by," he'd say. But most of the time he came when Brandon wasn't home, as if he knew Brandon's work schedule. Sarah remembered the first incident vividly. It was a Saturday afternoon. Brandon had gone to a Lakers game with friends. Sarah was home alone. The doorbell rang. Robert was at the door, holding a grocery bag. "Linda made you lasagna. Let me put it in the kitchen for you." Before Sarah could object, he'd walked inside. While putting the lasagna in the kitchen, he stood unnecessarily close to Sarah. She could feel his breath on her neck. "You smell so good," he said in a low voice. Sarah froze. "Thank you," she said, trying to move away, but the kitchen was small. Robert was blocking the way. "My son is so lucky to have such a beautiful wife," he continued. "Your wife is beautiful too," Sarah replied with a tense smile. Robert finally stepped aside, but as he left, he touched her shoulder, a very long, very slow touch. That night, when Brandon came home, Sarah wanted to tell him, but how? Would she say, "Your dad said I smell good"? It sounded ridiculous. She felt like she was overreacting. She stayed silent again. As months passed, things got worse. Robert now came without warning. He had a key. Linda had given it to him. "In case of an emergency," she'd said. One day, Sarah was in the shower when she heard the front door open. She panicked. "Brandon, is that you?" she called out. "No, sweetheart, it's me," came Robert's voice. "Is Brandon home?"
"No, he's at work. I'm in the shower. Please wait outside," Sarah shouted. Okay, sorry about that." But when Sarah got out of the shower and came out of the bathroom wrapped in only a towel, she saw Robert standing in the hallway, very close. Sarah was only in a towel. "Please leave," Sarah said, panic in her voice. "Why are you getting upset? I'm your father-in-law. We're family." "Please," Sarah repeated, tears welling in her eyes. Robert smiled and moved away slowly. But as he left, he said, "You're too sensitive, honey. Don't make such a big deal out of everything." That night, Sarah told Brandon everything. The shower incident, the kitchen encounter, the uncomfortable looks, the inappropriate touches. Brandon's reaction was Sarah's biggest fear. "Sarah, my dad?" Brandon said incredulously. "You talking about my father?" "Yes, please believe me, I'm not lying. Dad's an old man. He might be old-fashioned, but he's not a predator. You're being overly sensitive. You're misreading everything." "I'm not misreading anything. He's doing it on purpose." "My dad loves you. You've just misunderstood him. Please, let's drop this. Don't accuse my family." That night, Sarah cried herself to sleep. Her husband didn't believe her. Over the following weeks, Sarah became more vigilant. Every time Robert visited, she kept her phone nearby. She tried to record audio. But Robert was smart. When Brandon was home or others were around, he never behaved inappropriately. He only showed his true face when Sarah was alone. One day, Sarah came home early from work. When she opened the door, she had a strange feeling. Something had changed in the apartment, but she couldn't figure out what. That night, as she lay in bed, something occurred to her. The photo frame on the nightstand in their bedroom had been moved. She got up to check. Behind the frame was a small camera in her own bedroom. A hidden camera. Sarah's blood ran cold. Her hands started trembling. She immediately grabbed her phone and photographed the camera. Then she started searching the rest of the apartment. She found another camera inside a shampoo bottle in the bathroom. She found a third one behind the bookshelf in the living room. Someone was watching her in her own home, her every moment. That evening, when Brandon got home, Sarah was in a panic. Look at this," she screamed, showing him the camera. Brandon took the camera, examined it. "Where did this come from?" "In our bedroom. Someone's watching us. There's one in the bathroom, too." Brandon's face reddened. "Who would do something like this?" "Your dad. Who else could it be? He's the only one with the key to our apartment." Wait, are you accusing my father again? Maybe the previous tenants left them. Maybe burglars installed them, but not my dad. Brandon, please, see the truth. My dad would never do something like that. You're disgustingly accusing him."
The next day, while Sarah was teaching her fourth-grade class at school, her phone vibrated. A message from an unknown number. When she opened it, her breath caught. It was a photo of herself. At home. In the bedroom. Getting dressed. Then a second message came. "You're so beautiful. Don't tell anyone." Sarah ran to the bathroom and threw up. Over the following days, the messages continued. Every day. Sometimes photos, sometimes disturbing messages. "I'm watching you. You wore blue underwear today. I think about you when you're alone at night." Sarah wanted to go to the police, but proof? The number was blocked. Police couldn't trace it. When she showed Brandon, her husband still didn't believe her. "Maybe you have a stalker, but it's not my dad." "Who else could it be? No one can see me at home except him. I swear, Sarah, stop this nonsense. You're slandering my father." Sarah left the apartment that night and went to her mother's house.
she couldn't stay in that apartment anymore. Sarah told her mother, Carol, everything, through tears. All the incidents, the cameras, the messages. Her mother initially believed her. "That man is sick. You need to go to the police immediately. Get a divorce." But Sarah's father, David, thought differently. "Honey, you can't make such serious accusations against your father-in-law. Do you have proof? You can't ruin a man's life based on just suspicion." "Dad, the cameras, the messages." "But do you have proof he installed the cameras? The messages are from an anonymous number. Maybe it's someone else." Sarah couldn't believe it. Even her own father didn't completely believe her. "If you get divorced, you'll be stigmatized. You'll be a young, divorced woman. Maybe you're being too sensitive. Old generation men are like that. They don't mean any harm." "Dad, he wants to assault me. Don't you understand?" "Don't exaggerate, honey. Assault is a very serious accusation. Maybe he's being a bit too friendly, but—" Sarah couldn't listen anymore. She grabbed her bag and left the house. No one believed her. Her husband didn't believe her. Her father didn't fully believe her. Who could she tell? Sarah found a women's rights attorney, Jennifer Rodriguez, an experienced, tough, realistic woman. She explained the whole situation, showed her the cameras, showed screenshots of the messages. After listening, Attorney Rodriguez took a deep breath. "Sarah, I'm going to be honest with you. This is very difficult." "Why? I have the cameras. I have the messages." "But there's no proof who installed the cameras. The messages are anonymous. Legally, there's no direct evidence. So what should I do?" "You have two options. First, file for divorce. But if you accuse your father-in-law in court and can't prove it, you could face a defamation lawsuit." "And the second?" "File a police harassment complaint. But again, without evidence, it's hard to proceed. Also, Sarah, I'm sorry to say this, but in these types of cases, women usually lose. In harassment claims coming from family members, juries or judges often see it as a family matter and don't take it seriously, especially in the father-in-law, daughter-in-law dynamic." Sarah's world darkened. "So there's no way out?" "The way out is divorce, leave the house, get away. But getting legal punishment, very difficult."
Sarah was still staying with her mother. Brandon kept calling, asking her to come home. "Dad wants to apologize to you. Come, let's talk." Sarah refused. But one day, Brandon begged through tears. "Please, Sarah, come just once. Let's talk in front of my family. Let's fix everything. Let's save our marriage." In a weak moment, Sarah said yes. One Friday evening, they went to Brandon's parents' house in Calabasas for dinner. Throughout the meal, Robert was extremely polite. "Honey, I apologize if I did anything that made you uncomfortable. I'm an old man. Maybe I don't understand." Sarah stayed silent. She knew this was a game. After dinner, while Brandon and his mother were washing dishes in the kitchen, Sarah was left alone in the living room. Robert sat down next to her. "Come back, honey. Brandon loves you so much," he said softly. "I love him too, but—" "But what?" Robert's hand touched Sarah's knee. Sarah immediately pulled her hand away. "Please don't." "Don't do what?" Robert said, smiling. This time, his hand touched her upper thigh. Very high, very inappropriate. Sarah jumped to her feet. "No!" she screamed. Brandon came running from the kitchen. "What's happening?" He touched me. He touched my leg." Robert stood up, looking innocent. "I didn't do anything. She's having a breakdown. I was just sitting there." "He's lying. He touched me." Sarah was crying. Brandon was caught between them. He looked at his father, then at his wife, and he made that
terrible decision. "Sarah, enough. Leave the house. You're driving me crazy with this insanity." "What?" Sarah couldn't believe it. "Dad's an innocent man. You're slandering him. I can't take this anymore. Leave." Sarah left the house that night. She never went back. A week later, she filed for divorce on grounds of neglect and psychological abuse. At the hearing, Sarah told everything. She showed the cameras, submitted the messages. But Brandon and his family denied everything. Robert swore under oath, "I never did such a thing. That girl is sick, paranoid." They even submitted a psychiatric evaluation, claiming Sarah was experiencing stress-induced delusions from the marriage. The judge looked at Sarah and asked, "Do you have concrete evidence that your father-in-law harassed you? Video recording, witnesses, physical evidence?" "I have messages, cameras, but proof that he installed them." The divorce went through, but Sarah's harassment claim was dismissed. Insufficient evidence.
2 years later, something unexpected happened. Brandon remarried a 25-year-old woman named Jessica. 6 months later, Jessica found Sarah. She sent a message on Instagram. "I need to talk to you. Urgent." They met at a Starbucks in West Hollywood. Jessica was crying. "You were right," she said. "Robert, he's doing it to me, too." Sarah's heart stopped. What is he doing? "Everything. The looks, the touches, the messages. He cornered me once, tried to kiss me, forcibly." "Did you tell Brandon?" "Yes. He didn't believe me either, just like he didn't believe you. He said, 'Are you crazy too?'" The two women sat there in tears. "Let's go to the police," Sarah said. "Both of us together. 2 women with complaints about the same man. This time they'll believe us." Jessica nodded. Sarah and Jessica went to the district attorney together. They told everything. This time the situation was different. 2 separate women, 2 separate time periods, the same harassment claim. The DA's office opened an investigation. Robert Miller's phone was examined. Deleted messages were recovered. Dozens of inappropriate messages sent to Jessica were found. In a search of his home, hundreds of photos were found on his computer, of Sarah, of Jessica, secretly taken. Robert Miller was arrested. He was tried for sexual harassment, invasion of privacy, and threatening behavior. At trial, Robert denied everything. "I'm an innocent man. These women conspired against me." But the evidence was clear. Phone records, computer files, consistent statements from both women. The court found Robert Miller guilty. He was sentenced to 8 years in prison. After the verdict, Brandon called Sarah. "Sarah, I'm sorry." His voice was broken. He was crying. "It's too late, Brandon. 2 years, too late." I know. I wanted to believe my dad. He's my father. I didn't want to think you could be lying, but actually, you were never lying. You were always telling the truth." "Yes, I was always telling the truth. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I don't deserve it. I'm just sorry. So sorry." "I forgive you, Brandon, but we can never be together again. You didn't believe me when I needed you most. You didn't protect me." "I know. You're right." They hung up the phone. Now I'm sitting here, in my own apartment in Santa Monica. I'm safe now. Robert Miller is in prison. Justice was served, but it was late. For 2 years, no one believed me. My husband, my family, my friends. Everyone thought I was overreacting. When women are harassed, especially within the family, no one believes them. They say, "Maybe you misunderstood." They say,
maybe he didn't mean it that way. They say, do you have proof? We suffer without proof. We stay silent without proof. We're destroyed without proof. I was lucky. Eventually, Jessica came forward, and we could act together. But how many women are there suffering in silence, with no one believing them? If a woman tells you she's been harassed, believe her. Believe her before questioning. Believe her before asking for proof, because gathering proof is the hardest thing for a woman to do. And if you're experiencing something like this, don't stay silent. Speak up. Ask for help. Somehow, someday, the truth will come out. I wish everyone had believed me from the start. I wish no one had said, "You're overreacting." I wish I didn't have to prove this to anyone. But in the end, justice was served, even if it was late. And to every woman out there going through this, you are not alone. Keep speaking up. The truth will come to light.